Testing 1, 2, 3. Are we live? I think we are live. Good morning, everyone. It has been a while since I have been live. I was supposed to fly to Toronto last Thursday, and I got to the airport. I was just not feeling very good at all. I was super sick, and so I ended up canceling the flight, and I went home, and I was basically in bed from Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I still don't feel all that great, but I am on my way back in action here. So, but while I was laying in bed, and I was actually doing a little bit of trading during that time, and I've been experimenting with a new process. So I'm going to try to, well, it's not really a new process. It's basically trading power zones, but I'm just putting more emphasis on the power zones just because it's kind of a low volatility month, or I should say a low volume month. And so there's a lot of choppy action that tends to, well, at least in the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of choppy action. So just trading these power zones is something that I've been looking at, and the numbers look really good. So I decided to start doing that. I already got a couple trades in today. I got 2 winners and a loser. You can see those on the screen right now. I'm currently in this loser here. But typically, when you guys have seen me trade before, I cut my losses like pretty quickly. So I tend to have smaller losses, but I'm experimenting with just kind of letting it go. Letting it either hit my full stop as long as I take it in the power zone. So like you can see this one right here, I hit my full stop on it. But normally I would have been out as soon. So I entered on this tick up from this lower power zone here. And normally I would have pulled the plug and been out when it ticked down right here, which would have been, yeah, like right. So it would have been almost a break even had I done that. However, like I said, I'm kind of experimenting with this process here, and the numbers have been really good. So I'm going to stick with it today and see how it goes. Now, right now, it looks like we appear to be sort of V-bottoming out of here. But I'm just going to let it go, and I'm using an 80 tick stop. We'll see if it starts to pull back here pretty soon. Stealth, good morning. You're done for the day already. We haven't even got started yet. Trading the 3-minute power zone. Took the buy at 9 a.m. Awesome. I was just talking about trading power zones. With this new method that I'm looking at, you do have to be able to stomach more drawdown. Which is why I'm just kind of watching it go here. But it's also at the same time a little bit more relaxing. You don't have to do as much. You can just kind of kick back and wait for the signal to reach the other power zone and tick up. So that's when you would flip, or it'll hit your stop or your take profit. That's what I'm looking at anyways. The numbers looked really good on Thursday, on Friday. Yesterday, I think it was like 614 ticks. I was up yesterday. So numbers look pretty good. However, you know, this type of strategy primarily works best if the market's ranging or choppy. So if we end up going into like a big uptrend or a downtrend, you'll probably get the first initial move and you might get a winner on that, but then you'll have to wait until it reaches the other power zone. So if it goes into an extended trend or a sustained trend, you might not ever even hit the other power zone. So you could just be sitting on your hands all day waiting for an entry. That's the downside. It all depends on what the market's going to do, but I'm assuming we're going to be more ranging today just because there's not a whole lot going on. Like I said, it's December. It's a low volume month. Let's look at the news though really quick. So for news today, we don't have any more news today. Looks like the next news is tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. This already happened. OPEC meetings. Tomorrow we have core CPI at 7:30 a.m. Central. And the overnight rate BOC press conference at 9:30. So that's Canadian though. So the main news tomorrow is for US is CPI. So we'll see what she does today. But so far we are going straight up in the air. So I might get stopped out on this one. We will see. We have the market open in 5 minutes. Problem with this strategy is that I'm not used to having so much drawdown. So it'll be kind of hard for me to sit through that if I see a different setup. But I did it yesterday and it worked out pretty good. So like I said, yesterday I was up like 614 ticks. How many points is that? I think it was 614. Let me check. Yeah, so 614 divided by 4. It's like 153 points. All right, so, news is on the screen. Sorry about that. So we just put in our first lower high in that upper power zone. Hopefully that'll help me out a little bit on this trade. Stealth, also been playing the 15-minute gold power zone. Missed the one this morning, would have been up over 100 pips. Nice. Yeah, those power zones are powerful. And like I said, they really shine when we're ranging or like during choppy action, because a lot of times the signal will kind of chop around in here and then, it'll pop up there and come down here to the lower one. And so your best entries are usually going to be in those upper and lower power zones. And you get to ignore all of this nasty chop in the middle. But like I said earlier, it only works if you're not in a in a strong trend. So need to stop sleeping. It's hurting your profits. That's what makes bot trading so nice. Like with I don't bot trade on futures, but I do on crypto. And almost all of the good entries are usually when I'm sleeping in the middle of the night. So that is nice. Well, so far on the hourly, we are bearish. We got the delta under the confirmation line. The 15 minutes more bullish. We got the opposite going on over there. Delta's above the confirmation line. Confirmation line's headed up. And on the 5, we're technically bearish as long as it stays under the confirmation line, but it looks like the 5 wants to pop up here, so looks like I'm probably going to get stopped out here. Yep. I just hit my stop. Well, so far not great, but after the market opens, hopefully we start hitting these power zones a little bit more. Asfar, good morning. Could you please explain a little as to what's going on in the charts? Well, I just went over the hourly. We're bearish in the hourly. We're bullish in the 15. We're technically bearish on the 5, but we could go bullish here if the delta goes back above that confirmation line. And on the 1, we are currently bullish on the 1. However, today I'm going to be not paying so much attention to these higher time frames like I normally do. I'm going to be focusing more on just the 1 minute power zones. So we have the market open now. Looks like I just got wicked out there right on the top. Delta's starting to turn negative. We are ticking down underneath that negative delta. That's going to be really annoying if it just hit me right on the end of that wick. Yeah. Stealth, have you tried DCA around the power zone and not go full entry? Yeah, I've tried that. I typically don't DCA too much. I really like to just be in with a specific amount. And yeah, I'm usually just full in, full out. I try not to DCA too much. However, that's not a bad idea. I have experimented with that in the past, like adding to my position every time it ticks down from the upper power zone, for example. As far as like how that performed, I guess I didn't really experiment with it too much, so I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but I've just always been more comfortable being full in, full out. It's also easier to track. As far what bots are being used, I'm not using any bots on futures. When I was talking about bots before, I was talking about my crypto bots, and with that I use TOMMYBOTS. So that's TOMMYBOTS.com. With those bots, you can basically automate any indicators that you want in TradingVIew. So I tend to automate a lot of these signals on the Cumulative Delta, and you can combine them with higher time frames, and there's a lot you could do with it. So it's super powerful if you combine multiple indicators together. But you have to have a strategy first. You have to back test your strategy, make sure it works really well in the instrument that you want to trade it on. And then once you have a solid strategy, you take those rules and you basically create alerts. Go over to Bitcoin here just to give you an example. So you could create, see, I have all these alerts on the right. They're all turned off right now. I'm actually 100% in cash in crypto right now. But say you wanted to buy the lower power zone on the indicator, I would literally just come in here and turn on these, what I call group alerts for the power zone. Right now they just flipped on. And so if the signal comes down and ticks up underneath this line, or wherever I designate the power zone to be, then it'll buy a specific amount in my account. And so you can have entry rules, you can have different exit rules, you can combine them however you like. You're in full control, and you literally just start and stop all of these by clicking start and stop. So it takes a little while to get all your alerts configured for your bot, but once they're configured, it's as easy as clicking start and stop. So hopefully that answers that question. Jay-Waz, good morning. I see you were up late last night. You messaged me at, it was like 2:30 a.m. my time, I think. So hopefully you got some rest. And yes, I am back. I'm feeling a lot better today than I have been in the last 5 days or so. Man, that was no fun. It was more of like a sinus thing. So I had like a major headache and sinus pressured my face, and I could not stream or talk to anybody that way. So I could barely look at my computer screen. Even just the light, the small amount of light on the computer screen hurt my eyes. So, but hopefully I'm over that hump. So we'll see how it goes today. So Jay-Waz, I don't know if you missed it, but I was talking about just trading these power zones today. As you can see, I've already taken a few trades. 2 full stop losers in there. And like you know, I usually don't hit my full stops. I usually pull it early, but I'm trying something new. So as long as we go into more of a range today, this should work pretty well. Like I said, we don't really have much in the way of news today, so we do have some news tomorrow. So I suppose it might want to trend in a certain direction, but we will see. We are above the standard VWAP, which is the blue line. We're above the orange session VWAP line. So technically, we are bullish right now. Delta's above the confirmation line. Confirmation line is still headed up, has a positive slope. So longs should be where it's at for now. But with the approach that I'm taking today, I'm going to have to ignore some of the normal stuff that I'm used to looking at in the playbook. So like I said, I'm taking these power zone entries. So if we come up to this upper power zone and we tick down, I'm probably going to short it. We have this pivot line sitting up here too that looks like it might want to get tapped. We did just take out this swing high over here. So we did just grab some liquidity there. Let's see if we have a little bit of a broadening formation forming. So if we come back up here and touch the top of that broadening formation, and if we get a sell signal somewhere in this area, we could potentially come all the way back down here and revisit the daily open. Unless it can stay above here, we'll see. The 5-minute is technically bullish now. A little bit of a doji up there. She's pushing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, oh, you probably haven't noticed because my microphone is in the way. But look what came to me in the mail. Can you see this? I got a Zeiierman trading hoodie. Zeiierman was nice enough to shoot that over to me in the mail. He also sent a t-shirt. And I got a mug too. I'm not using my mug. I'm using my Yeti right now, but one of these days I'll bust out the mug. She's actually moving pretty good now. Look at that delta. That delta's getting fat. But I can't just jump in. I'm trying something different today. So far, that is quite the move. Now in the playbook, if we were taking every setup in the playbook, you know, you have your delta above a positive sloping confirmation line. So when this pulls down into this green zone on this tick up right here, you could take that long. Like I said, I'm not taking those today, but if you did, you would have been in long right here. And you're targeting 125 ticks. You easily would have got that. But it's actually gone 62 points since that entry. JWAS, did you take anything yet today? Yeah, the open can be a little squirrely, usually. You know, but you guys hear me say this all the time. The entry that you get usually right around the open, like either just before or just after, it's usually a pretty good one. So let's see here. Today the open was right here on this candle that came down. Then we got this entry signal at 8:34. So, you know, even if you took this one right before, say this lower high from the power zone, I was already in a short at this point, but if you took that signal there, short, it went as far as, looks like 22.75 points before it turned up. So if you had smaller target on that one, it would have hit. Yeah, power zone tick down. However, with the delta that fat, I don't know if I want to take that. If it was a normal size delta, I would say sure. But I don't know. Well, I'll put a limit order up there. Basically, I have a limit order set right here. Let's see if I get picked up. So far, it looks like I should have taken that. The tick down was right here at 8:46, right there in the close of that candle. It's gone 20 points already. Yeah, looks like I should have just taken that anyways. The fat delta threw me off. Yep, that would have hit too. That would have been 125 ticks in the bag. Shoot. Oh well, we'll get the next one. We're sitting there right on top of this pivot line as well as the top of this this trend line here, which if we go back under the trend line, we could expect to take out this low over here, go back to the daily open potentially. Something to keep an eye on. Stealth says double top on the 3-minute. I take the break of the first red candle. Well, yeah, that would have been a good entry. Are you still in? Yep, looks like she's coming back down. Back down to the session VWAP, which is the orange line. That's an anchored VWAP on the 7 a.m. central candle. Looks like it's zeroing in on the standard VWAP. So, yep, I should have taken that tick down right there. That was my strategy today. But again, that fat delta threw me off. You know, a lot of times when you have this, so like this is a, right here, this is a normal sized delta, I would say. And then you get this period where it basically goes the opposite way. The delta turns red. And then it goes right back to positive and you're fat. Usually, like, if you have one of these in there, this fat delta usually is not sustained or sustainable. It usually pitters out pretty quickly, which is why I probably should have just taken that tick down up there. You know, looking back in hindsight, it's kind of, it's easier to see those things, but that's where experience comes in. After you see this so many times, it makes it easier to identify in real time. But even with a lot of experience, it can be difficult sometimes. All right, so we're back down, sitting on top of VWAP. We got the signal down in the lower power zone. So if we get a tick up down here in the lower zone, I am going to go long. Even though we're back inside this potential broadening formation here, we could end up back down here near the daily open. So, but I'm going to try to stick to the plan today and be more of a robot if I can. Stealth. I hit my profit goal earlier just using a demo count. Yep, I remember you said you were done already for the day when we got started. That's always a good day. Got the 9 o'clock candle in 1 minute, 10 seconds. And we just got my tick up from that lower power zone. I'm long from the close of that candle. Oh, the bulls are stepping it up here. And we hit our profit target already in just over 1 candle. So that's 31.25 points. Jaywaz. Of course, you had to go to the bathroom during that one. I can't tell you how many times I've missed trades because I went to the bathroom. I tell my dad that all the time. Gotta love those power zones. I just wish I would have got the one on the way down. It was right there. And that little white tick up there is the other one. Gives new meaning to the term it's dumping. Stealth, what's your stop and target again? Today, I'm using an 80 tick stop and a target of 125 ticks. Usually, it's my target is either 125 ticks, or if the signal line makes it to the opposite power zone and it ticks in that power zone, then I'll exit early and flip. And normally I don't use like an explicit take profit like that. Normally I just wait for the indicator to tell me when to get out. But if you're ranging or chopping, using just a set TP usually works better. So I'm going to stick with that today. I mean, I don't know if we're going to range or not, but I'm just going to assume that we are. CPI is tomorrow, so may create a ranging day. Yeah, that's exactly my thoughts too. Another thing that I'm experimenting with a little bit is, my ATR indicator, which I usually have set to 4 times the ATR. So right now it's set to 4 times. You can see we're sitting at like a 52. That's what I usually keep it set at. But with this new method that I've been experimenting with, I'm looking at changing this to like a 12x, the multiplier. In which case, so see now it's showing 160. So what I'm looking at is whether or not that number is better for like a dynamically setting your take profit based off of the ATR. So like in this case, if I was in here and instead of using 125 ticks, I used 160, well, then that would have got me right here. I would have done a little bit better. So that's something I'm just looking at right now. However, at the time of the entry, I don't think it was 160. Let's see what it was. So go in replay mode. And we'll go forward until the entry candle right here. And it looks like, yeah, okay. So yeah, it was sitting at about 160. Or wait, never mind. I have to go back a candle. Let me go back to right here on the entry candle. We are sitting at like a 147. So if I would have dynamically set it to 147, I would have done a little bit better. Stealth, you could use the break of the 8 EMA. Yeah, I have used that. I use that quite a bit. But like I said, I'm trying something a little different today. And mine is set to an SMA, not an EMA. But yeah, usually a close above or below the SMA. If the price is moving, that works pretty good. If the price is chopping sideways, then, you could end up, like right here, how it's like above and below, above, below. When you end up chopping it like that, you can get chopped up pretty easily. We just took out that high liquidity that was sitting there. So will we go back down? We have the signal in the upper power zone again. We are flashing a lower high tick down, which actually has a little bit of bearish divergence as well. We got a higher high on price and a lower high on that signal. This went short from here. $593.75. And we got this tick down. It wasn't a very strong one, but I'm going to try to stick to the rules. My rules today. Don't necessarily do what I'm doing. You guys should stick to your own rules, but You know, when I was testing this method over the last few days, you do have periods where you have to, the trades last a lot longer usually. Like right now, we're kind of going straight up, straight down, straight up. But in the last few days, I mean, there were some trades where you might be sitting there for, 45 minutes waiting for the thing to play out. So, as I was telling JWAS yesterday, it could get kind of boring, but as long as it's profitable, I guess that's what matters, right? Now, on this move here, like just from a structure perspective, we came up, we came down. We never did break this low right here. And we came back up here. We did break that high. So we're making higher highs and higher lows. So technically, we should not be going against this. However, I'm just going to keep assuming that we are not trending. And just see how we play out today. And I will be right back. This push up was pretty strong, so I would not be surprised if I get stopped out here. Does look like the delta is tapering down a little bit. She's on the verge of putting in a lower high on the signal here. Well, almost a lower high. Looks like it's more of a relatively equal high. Got a higher high in the price, so maybe a little bit of bearish divergence in there, a tad bit. We do have this this positive sloping delta going against us. I should say against me, assuming you guys are not in the same trade that I'm in. All she needs to do is fall apart before it hits my stop. That's the key to this strategy. Like I said earlier, you do have to stomach a little bit more drawdown with this, but as long as it works, that's the main thing. Starting to go a little green here. That delta is starting to roll over a little. Starting to turn a little negative. And 12 times ATR at the moment is 137 ticks. Or 138. I'm sticking with my 125 though. Delta still rolling over. It's a good sign for the bears at the moment. Overall trend is still bullish though. Keep that in mind. Self says 3-minute tick down as well. Entry at 585. Here's the 3-minute. There's the tick down on the 3 at 918. So that would have been right here. Yep. I don't really look at the 3-minute too much, but maybe I should look at that a little bit more. Probably helps filter out a little bit of the noise. I just really like the 1 because it's quicker. It's more my pace, I guess. But the cumulative delta, you know, it's fractal. It'll work on every time frame. So whatever time frame you are comfortable trading, that's the time frame you should use it on. Closing in on that 50. That's this green line right here. See if it can bust through for a second and hit my TP. We also got that signal down in the lower power zone. So if we tick up down here, I got to flip. It would be nice if it could hit my take profit first. Twelve times ATR is currently at 133. Pretty close to my 125. We did not get the tick up yet. So still in. We do have session VWAP sitting down here at 551. Might want to go tap that first. We also never really appropriately retested this yellow trend line either, so I could see it hitting that. There we go. We got our 125. Back down to the session anchored VWAP. And now to the yellow trend line. Starting to get our tick up from that lower power zone, right on that yellow trend line. And I am back long on the close of this candle, 552. So on the close, or on the on that entry candle, back in replay mode just to see what that ATR was. It's like it was 142.9. So let's just pretend we have our stop at 142 ticks above there. We'll see if that hits. On the 1 minute, we're technically bearish right now. We have the delta underneath the confirmation line. The delta has an overall negative slope to it. So we're kind of counter trend trading, if you call that a trend. It's not really a trend though if it's not making, you know, lower highs and lower lows. So again, I am assuming we are not trending today. I'm going to assume that we are in a more of a range play. So power zones are my entries and my exits. Trading ranges like this is detailed out in the playbook. If you're not familiar with the playbook, you can download it for free. The link is up there at the top. It teaches you all about these power zones and a bunch of other setups that we are ignoring today. Not ignoring the power zones. That's what we're focusing on. We did just put in a higher low on the signal with a Very thin but positive delta, so that's a positive sign for the bulls. So we just get a little bit of a pop. We could hit our take profit sitting up there. Don't need much of one. Stealth, you're still in your short, huh? Well, we are bearish, so I would not be surprised if this continues down. I would prefer that it hits my take profit first. We are forming a little bit of a bear flag looking thing here. Normally, I don't let a profitable trade turn into a negative trade, except for today. I am doing something different. I'm not moving my stop to break even. A lot of times that kills me. Can't tell you how many times I've seen it come down, tag my break even, and then take off. So today, I'm sticking to those rules. It's either going to hit my stop, my full stop, or that signal is going to reach that other power zone and tick down, in which case I will flip, or it's going to hit my take profit. Those are the only three options I have. I should note, though, for anyone who's trading the other setups in the playbook, we do have this chop setting in here on the delta. That's the nice thing about trading power zones, is it could chop all at once in the middle and you don't really care unless it reaches your power zone. I will be right back. Still no take profit. And we are getting a tick down right underneath that delta. And that is usually a pretty good short. So I might have to break my rule and flip here. Okay, I just flipped. Close of that candle. Looks like we only lost 1.5 points on that. And I am now short. $550.75. That was so close to a break even. We'll just go ahead and call that one a break even. This is what I meant by, like, if I see another setup, it's going to be hard for me to stick with the original plan. Now watch me get burned on this one. It's interesting that that last candle was the first one that actually touched this pivot line. It just kissed it. Stealth, you're targeting 517, huh? Yeah. That's not a bad place to take profit. Right on that order block. If we can get down there, she is looking weak. Delta's weak. Sellers are in control. Just barely, but they're in control. There's a little pop to VWAP. See how we were sitting on top of that broadening formation, yellow line? So I still wonder if we're going to head back down and take out this low, which is down here at 492. And then hit the daily open, which is at 480. And if we come all the way down to the broadening formation, then from the current price, that's down here at 456. So you have to lose that VWAP first, though. And a lot of times it's not a straight drop. It's usually a grind getting down there. We were flashing a tick up in that lower power zone, but the way that everything is looking, if it does tick up there, I'm probably just going to ignore it and stay in the short. We are so very close. We were literally one tick away from my take profit on that one. We're now ticking up from that power zone. I still think we're gonna... I think we're gonna hit it though. So I'm gonna ignore this tick up. So we closed under VWAP, came back to VWAP to retest it. Looks like so far we're rejecting off of it. So close. Come on, market. Get down there. There we go. There's another winner in the bag. 31.25 points, 125 ticks. That brings us at 88 points so far for the day. Stealth, I think you got your 517. Nice trade, Stealth. Hey, there's nothing bad with demo money. So just looking at the delta here, it's falling pretty aggressively still. So I would not be surprised if we continue down and take out that low that we were talking about earlier. However, I need a new setup to get in, so I can't just jump in there. Now, there is if you're just following setups in the playbook, there is a setup there. It is your impulsive breakout entry on this tick down right here. So that would have been an entry right here. Like I said, I am not taking those today. Looks like this order block is now wiped out and mitigated. So can we take out that low? I think we can. These broadening formations never really disappoint. I shouldn't say never. Usually they don't disappoint. Hey, we haven't really looked at Bitcoin today. How are we doing? Oof. Bitcoin is still dropping. Let's see what else is going on here. Doge looks ugly. XRP's ugly. Everything's ugly across the board. Good thing my bots got me out of all that mess right before the drop. Almost took out that low. Not quite yet. There we go. The low has been taken out. Got the daily open sitting here at 480. Steph says it's getting close to the lower power zone on the 3-minute. Yep, it's not ticking up there yet, but it's in the zone. We do have a higher low tick up on the 1-minute. We did take out that low, so I'm tempted to go long here. But we got the delta right down in there in that power zone, so sometimes it's better to wait for a delta cross or a delta squeeze setup. Gosh, I'm tempted to put a limit order in there. I'm going to hold off on this one. I'm going to wait for the delta to show more bullish strength to it. So I want to see not only it taper, but I want to see it go positive. Maybe even wait for a delta squeeze setup there. I know that's kind of going against my plan today, but JWAS took it. JWAS is long. You know, this is the first higher low since the signal fell from the red zone. And usually the first one is a good long. So that would have been in right here. JWAS, did you get in on the close of that higher low? Yes, you did. Okay. Delta's turning up a little bit. Can it hold? Or is it going to want to come down to this daily open? That's what kind of has me on the fence a little bit. We're so close to the daily open. But see, I'm thinking too much. I'm supposed to be a robot. I'm supposed to just follow the rules. Over analyzing levels and things can screw up the process. Looks like that entry on the 8 might have been a good one. Maybe. Delta's starting to go more negative again. Back under the 8. Are we going to close under the 8? Barely closed under the 8. So the bears might have a little bit more to go here. Keep in mind, we got the yellow broadening formation line all the way down here at 451. That could be the bear's target there. I tell you, I would feel better about a long if we were down here. Almost to the daily open. Again, that's at 480. And we just kissed it. You know earlier how I was pointing out this tick down right here, right underneath the delta? This particular setup where you get the delta cross on the confirmation line as a step 1, comes up here, ticks down right underneath the delta, that's usually an amazing short. And if I was trading my normal setup, I probably would have held more through this and would have had, looks like, more than double the profits on that one. But I'm really trying to stick to this 125 ticks today to see how we do. But this, if you just look for this particular setup right here, it's one of my favorites. And, you know, for longs, it's the exact opposite. You'd have the delta cross the confirmation line somewhere down here by the lower power zone. And the signal would come down, tick up right above the delta. And off to the races long. I'm thinking she wants to go hit this broadening formation down here. Maybe even previous day low, which is sitting down here at 437. Let's see what else we have down here. There does appear to be some good support down there. She's bouncing. Delta is tapering. It is flashing positive. JWAZ, are you still long? I am still long, yes. Good. It's looking a little better for you. Back above the 8. After we hit that daily open, I probably should have taken this long right here. A tick up from that power zone. That's what I was kind of waiting for, but I was looking at all the stuff down here, so over analyzing probably. That would have been more in line with my strategy today. I haven't really been paying attention to the higher time frames, but I'll go ahead and flip these for you guys if you guys are playing these. On the 5-minute, we are technically bearish. 5-minute bearish, there we go. However, we are ticking up from that lower power zone on the 5, something to watch out for. Still bullish on the 15, still bearish on the hourly. So a little bit of discrepancy there across the higher time frames. On the 1-minute, we're technically bearish. Confirmation line has a negative slope to it. However, the delta itself has a positive slope to it. So we could be turning here. So did they ever figure out what those drone things were over there in New Jersey? Flying around the skies for the last couple weeks? I haven't really been looking at the news. Is it China? Is it the aliens? Who's flying those drones? Or whatever they are. Let's see what Twitter has to say. You don't even know about it. Really? Man, I think that's been some pretty big news lately. And it's like crazy stuff. Like, nobody has any idea what it is or who's behind it or what's behind it. But there's been like hundreds of these sightings. This just popped up on my feed. New Jersey. We finally have a video of the UAP UFO drones. We can now confirm that they are indeed orbs. Someone got the UFO image with his telescope. We can also confirm that orbs is surrounded by a field, the same kind of field that Bob Lazar describes as almost 30 plus years ago. The field around the UFO UAP drone looks like it's bouncing off light, and that's why we can't see its true shape, but most likely it's a metallic orb that Patrick Q. Jackson proved a few years ago now. This footage is from December 8th, 2024, but I don't have the original poster. Wow, that's crazy looking. If you guys are curious what I'm looking at, this is the post. Just pasted it in the chat. But a lot of these like drone looking things, they have like, like it looks like they have standard like airplane lighting on them, with the strobes, the green, red, and white lights. That's why a lot of people think that they're just like normal drones, but they say that they're like the size of cars. And they don't respond to, I guess the military's been, they have this technology that lets them down drones and doesn't let, like your average user's drones, they don't let them fly in the airspace. And these things, somehow they're getting around all that stuff. Anyway, interesting topic. Well, we came up and touched this little order block up here on the 1. Signal almost made it to the power zone. Not quite, so I can't take it. Bull's trying to prop it back up here. However, we got our thin spotty delta. That is a sign of chop. I'm still waiting for that signal to make it in that upper power zone. I don't know if it'll get there. Signals, or the delta's looking really weak. I'm really tempted to short this right now. That was a pretty hard rejection there. We got the delta rolling over on the 1, on the 5. We're still headed straight down. I'm tempted, but I'm sticking with the plan. I really think it wants to come down here and hit these targets. That signal would have been just a little bit higher. I would have shorted that. See how it kissed our order block just perfectly, though. Had a first rejection, came back, second rejection. Anybody else in a short? I'm going to break that low and fall hard here. Still waiting to go long in this area. Doesn't look like it's done dropping yet, but just waiting for that tick up in that power zone. And as I said earlier, I'd feel more comfortable about a long if we came down here closer to our trend line and tested it first. We did tick up, but I'm holding off at the moment. So we got our tick up. I did not pull the trigger on it. I did put a limit order under this low. I wanted to see this order block get tapped first. So since we got our signal, I went ahead and put in that limit order a little bit lower, see if we get tagged in here. I might miss the trade. There we go. We are now tagged in. Hmm. Delta's still not turning up. We'll see if it would have been better if I waited for a delta squeeze. In order for that to be a delta squeeze, the delta has to be turning up a little bit, not a whole lot. It has to be tapering and going positive. And the signal has to get somewhere up in here and then come down and then tick up above the delta. So I knew I was taking a little bit of an early entry there. We'll see if it will be a better entry than a delta squeeze, but sometimes if you get in too early, you'll end up getting burned. I know that we have this trend line sitting down here, which is also coincides with the previous day low. So if that's what it's waiting to take out, then I'm going to have a losing trade here. We'll see. You just never know. But I'm somewhat confident in this one because we had our first delta cross in the power zone. That's usually a good trade. And then also we have these 5-minute order blocks sitting here that should provide some support. So far, we're just kind of grinding through the first one. One thing is for sure, this is not really an area to go short. At least not according to the playbook. That delta is getting squeezed down to the floor of this thing. See how it's pushed right along that the floor of this indicator? We're about to have our second little delta cross here. See, the delta is really thin, so there's not a whole lot of aggressive sellers left. I know that this tick down right here wasn't quite in my power zone, but man, that would have been a really good trade too. If I would have just taken that, that would have been right here. And I would have got my 125 ticks out of it. Well, she is not looking like she wants to bounce yet. She might want to just come down and hit this trend line. And then go. That delta is very thin though. They could easily pop positive right here. Is this it? Are the shorts going to cover? Pop us over to my TP? Starting to flash some positive on the delta finally. Hopefully we start to see that turn up. JWaz says, I like the 5-minute ticking up when it's slow like this for a long on the 1 minute. I like that too. And now your tick up on the 5 is official. And are we going to get a little pop here? Hopefully. Back to the daily open. Close to it. We got the signal up in that upper power zone already. Can she continue to push? We are flashing a tick down. It's kind of in the upper power zone, barely. I might want to wait for a stronger one to flip. All right, we did tick down there, so this is a little bit of a pivotal moment here. Are we going to turn down or continue pushing? Well, my rules said I should have flipped right there, but I hesitated. I'm going to start trailing this now, just because I kind of screwed up there. And I still think it wants to go higher in that power zone. We are going a little higher. JWAS, you still long? The longs are looking better. You doubled up your long on the dip. Getting crazy. Well, it's kind of rejecting a little bit off that daily open and the 50. 50's right there. But we are still above the 8. So can we hold above the 8? Keep in mind that red line is this low, the swing low from over here. So that still could hold some significance there. Yeah, we're ticking up on the 15. Good point. That should be fairly powerful. Keep in mind, those take a lot longer to play out, though. So even if you're right, you lose if you're trading the 1. So close here to my target. Don't even tell them you're going to back off right there. One tick away. Come on, market. You can do it. You were so close. Look at that. One tick away from my take profit. All right. I ended up flipping right there. Looks like that was 84 ticks. I am now short. So 21 points. And we never did test this order block right here, so still wouldn't be surprised if it pops up and kisses that thing. Just trying to follow my rules and be a little robot here. Starting to flash a lower high in that upper power zone now. Delta is still, it's rising, but it's weak looking. It's really thin. It's actually flashing negative for a second there. So the bulls are lacking thus far. If they're going to push it up there, they better step up to the plate. So we're either building a little bit of a bull flag here, or we're going to fall apart and head back down. I feel like it can kind of go either way. But I think the bears at this point still have the upper hand. However, if you're just looking at the playbook, keep in mind we did have this delta cross, which is bullish. We got a positive slope on the delta, which is bullish. Delta's above the confirmation line. So all of this down here is bullish, but so far all of this up here is bearish, which is why I said it can kind of go either way here. The bulls are fighting for it. Might end up getting stopped out. We'll see. JWAS is still long. And you've had a really good track record lately, so I would not doubt it if you are successful on this one. Starting to flash our second lower high in that upper power zone. It wasn't official. They kind of pulled out of it at the last second. Well, this seems like a good time for me to go hit the bathroom and maybe something will happen by the time I get back. Anything? Well, looks like we're green again. That's good. Delta's negative, starting to roll over. This might be a winner after all. Those power zones, man, those are powerful. Still thinking she might want to come down and take out the previous day low. Maybe even hit that yellow trend line down there. Should I break my rule and change my take profit to previous day low? I think maybe I will. 437. See if we can hit that. It just looks too good sitting down there. We got our trend line. If we take out this low, we're going to end up stopping out the bulls. So then we could probably gain a little bit more momentum, take out that previous day low. And maybe even hit that trend line. That would be 163 ticks. 12 times ATR at the moment is only 112, so that might be pushing it, but we'll see. Stealth caught that short based on my previous strategy. A nice 15-point drop. Nice. 3-minute tick down at the halfway point, which is the top of the 1 minute. I see that. Yeah. According to the playbook, that is a short entry. Good job on that one. Now the question is, am I pushing it trying to take out this previous day low? Or would I have been better off with the 125 ticks? Well, let's see. Just took out that swing low, would have hit the 125. Can we get down there to the previous day low? And we're taking up from that lower power zone. Not official, just flashing. Maybe I would have been better sticking with 125. Come on, bears. Push it down there. One more push. Can she do it? Well, technically, I already got my long signal here. So I am supposed to have flipped already. But I am hesitating. Looks like I should have stuck to the original plan, huh? All right. I pulled the plug there for a smaller profit than I should have had. Still got 17.5 out of it. That's why I got rules, guys. I'm supposed to stick to the rules. And as a result, I ended up missing this long entry too. I should have flipped on this tick up right here, which would have been right there. That would have been almost my target already. That's what happens if you mess with the flow. Timing is everything with this indicator. Now, according to the playbook, this is this right here. When the delta crosses above the confirmation line near that lower power zone, that's when you flip your bullish ears on and you wait for the signal to come down into the green zone and tick up right there. That's your long. That is detailed in the playbook. And the only reason why I missed it is because I didn't flip when I was supposed to flip. I was holding out for that previous day low. This is what I mean by like having extra things on the chart sometimes just screws everything up. If I could just have one thing on the chart and one thing only, it would be the cumulative delta, nothing else on the 1 minute, just ignoring the 5, ignoring the 15, ignoring the hourly. That's really all you need. The other stuff can make you better, but it can also make you worse. It's not required, not necessary. And there we are. We would have hit our target already had we done what we were supposed to do. It would have been another 125 ticks. 31.25 points. Go ahead and circle that just for the record. The other thing that screwed me up here is I was trying to draw out this broadening formation within the broadening formation. So I had an expectation that we were going to come down to the bottom of that broadening formation, which also coincides with the previous day low. So I thought, hey, they're both there. That's probably what it's going to do. It's better to just be a robot and follow robot rules. However, I still feel like we have a decent broadening formation going on here that we should be aware of still. JWAS is still in his long. Balls of steel. We finally just kissed that order block I was looking at before. We got the signal in that upper power zone. I am short. Oh. Looks like that tick down wasn't official. It pulled up at the very last second when I hit the button. It was tick down when I hit the button. And it pulled out of it. So hopefully that just gives me a little bit better price. There's the official tick down now. Keep in mind this trade right here, I did not take this trade, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I should have taken that trade. So that would have been another 31 points on the board, but I'll keep it circled for your reference. Kind of going against the flow here with these. On the one, we still are bullish. Delta's above the rising confirmation line, so so according to the playbook, we should be looking for longs there, but still have more of a ranging bias today, so sticking with the counter trend trades. Bulls do seem like they're trying to step it up, though. We have that delta rising fairly aggressively. Still, I guess, what I'd say more average size. It's not super fat. That could change, though. And JWAS is still long, so we want him to get his winner out of here. JWAS exited the long. So you got a winner there, huh? Where were you in from? Just put in our second tick down from the upper power zone. After touching the top of that broadening formation line. So you were long from 21,455, huh? 455? Wow. So that was a nice one for you. Delta's getting really thin and spotty. It's flashing negative. So if we're rejecting from the top of that broadening formation, we could target the swing low, which would be right there at 21,444. But I'm not going to break my rules again. I'm going to stick to my 125 ticks if I can get it. We saw what happened last time I broke my rules. Be right back. Right back there at the daily open. That delta's starting to look pretty wonky. It's rising, but it's negative, and it's getting a little spotty there too. I'm going to go ahead and mark that off as chop. So are you guys more bullish or bearish at the moment? Cumulative Delta is technically more bullish on the 1, but in the very short term, I am still bearish until we get a tick up from that lower power zone. We're starting to flash a tick up right now. It's not in the lower power zone. So the question is, do I just pull the plug here or do I wait it out? All right, I just pulled it at break even. We weren't getting that drop I was looking for. We do have somewhat of a spotty, choppy delta setting in. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it here for the day. I'm going to still look for trades in these power zones. I got some other things I got to take care of, so I will be back tomorrow, same time, 8:15 a.m. Central Time. Here, let me go ahead and update my stats really quick. So we got 126 points profit on the day. We could have done better. I broke some rules. So hopefully tomorrow we do a little bit better than we did today. So, all right, guys, good luck. We will talk to you tomorrow. Peace out.
Oh, wow, look at that move. It's like one of those big Delta candles. I mean, who even trades those tiny candles anymore? I like big fat candles, I can't deny. When the Delta's green and riding high, when a chart spikes thick with a bullish wick, I'm glued to my screen, that's the trick. I want to bounce quick, can't let it go. Big Delta bars, let that volume show. I'm zooming out, yeah, that's my groove. Catching waves in a Delta move. Wanna trade slow? Nah, too tame. This market's got heat, I'm in the game. Delta's skinny, not my taste. Fat candles on my happy place. Oh, traders, let me see that line. When the buyers push, I feel just fine. It's the fat move, no squeeze fake. I'm in this trend with no break. Got entries stacking tall, no weak signals, I'm all in, y'all. Skinny candles just ain't for me. Big Delta's not golden key. Sitting tight while volume pops. Green wave up won't make me stop. Short candles, nope, they're a bore. Give me fat Deltas, I want more. Like those thick moves, yeah, yeah. I wanna break through. You know, don't you fold. Big Deltas fill the chart with might. Skinny moves don't make it right. I like big fat candles, can't deny. When the volume surges up so high, skinny trades can take a seat. Big fat Deltas are what I be. Lone traders, candles are my happy. Delta skinny, not my taste. Fat candles are my happy place. Oh, traders, let me see that line. When the buyers push, I feel just fine. It's the fat move, no squeeze fake. I'm in this trend with no break. Got entries, stacking tall. No weak signals, I'm all in, y'all. Skinny candles just ain't for me. Big Delta's my golden key. Big Delta's my golden key. Sitting tight while volume pops. Green wave up won't make me stop. Short candles, nope, they're aboard. Give me fat deltas, I want more. Like those big moves, yeah, wanna break through, you know. And hold and play, don't you fold. Big deltas fill the charter with might. Skinny moves don't make it right. Like those thick moves, yeah, wanna break through, you know. Then hold and play, don't you fold. Big deltas fill the chart with might. Skinny moves don't make it right.